Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. Oh, excellent. Folks, our friend and sister, Natasha Singh Lewis, is going to be joining us today. I was going to keep it a secret, like the other days. I'm sorry for y'all. I'm telling y'all today. Good to have each and every one of you here with us, guys. Wherever y'all are joining us from, we are happy that you folks are here with us. We are very, very happy, esteemed that you folks are here with us. Good afternoon. Did I say good morning or good afternoon? Well, I'm saying good afternoon now. Good to have you folks here with us, guys. And just flipping through and flitting through Twitter. I saw that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the government of Jamaica, the folks have sent up a proper ambassador to India. They have sent up a proper ambassador to India. It's not the any and the all sorts. Not the any and the all sorts. It's the cream of the crop, folks. Cream of the crop to India. Love, love that. Properness, that's what I'm saying. Properness, right? And I'm trying to head back there. Good afternoon, guys. Wherever you folks are joining us from, we are privileged. Good to have you folks. Great to have you folks with us. Wherever you all are joining us from, we are so privileged that you guys are here with us. Yep. The Jamaica High Commissioner to India is Mr. Jason Hall, and recently presented his letters of credentials to the President of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Ranil, and the surname is too much for me, just too much. His Excellency, the President of Sri Lanka. Proper people. And you all know what I'm getting at. They sent up an aptly qualified person as their ambassador, the High Commissioner to India. It's not no tomfoolery. It's not a brung back, folks. Guys, how you all doing? Sheena Hazel, good to have you. Magnal Barrow, Donna Daly, good to have you as well. They have sent up the Jamaicans, that is, a proper and fit and proper candidate as their representative, High Commissioner to India. A very good afternoon to Candy Deline Inderjeet and Marquis. A very good afternoon to you guys. Maureen Williams, good afternoon to you too. How is Keldon? How is Keldon, Candy? How is Keldon? I got up to, what is that? Fort Wellington over the weekend. And ran out of steam by the time I got there. Good to see you on the live, Candy. All front parts. Good to see you on the live. Nicola Fordyce, we see you there. Guys, we're so happy. The folks who are joining us. We're going to be talking to the one and only Natasha Singh Lewis in just a few, folks. In just a few. Glycis Bingo Byrne, we see you there as well. We see you there as well. Great to have you too. Great to have you too. Just scrolling through Twitter here, it has occurred to me a lot of people got problems. A lot of people got problems. It has just occurred to me. If you get into psychology or so on, you got it luck. I could see some of you easily becoming the next billionaire psychologist. Easy. You see? Hope you guys are well. Hope you all are in the middle of lunch. Some folks do lunch differently. Some folks do lunch differently. Some of y'all don't eat out your lunch. That's what I really mean. And some of y'all are gonna have lunch later on. I mean, lunchtime is not for lunch. And why some of y'all say difficult? Lunchtime is not for lunch. Right? And some of y'all won't have lunch at all. Won't have lunch at all. But we hope that you guys do. As we say here colloquially, get something in your system. Get something down in your system. Put something in. Put something in. We hope that you guys are well. We hope that you guys are good. Let's get some housekeeping things out of the way. Let's get some housekeeping matters out of the way. And then we're going to circle back. We're going to circle back to what's happening and talk with MP Natasha Singh Lewis. We're going to circle back. Right? And Candy is saying that tomato prices are so flipping ridiculous. Quarter price for us. I was in the market over the weekend, and I saw a fella getting half pound of tomatoes. I understand. It has just occurred to me. And so I understand. Jolly, Barbara, good to see you. Out front parts, good to see you as well. Out front parts, living it up. He's having some lobster. You see these bushy folks? You see these bushy people? He come from make me hungry now. He having some lobster. Mankind here could barely afford chicken. He having lobster. You see thing? You see thing like this? He's having some lobster. We happy for you, brother. We happy for you. Candy said it's $1,000 a pound of tomatoes. My God. Maybe I should have put Natasha to another day and be talking to some tomatoes today. Should have been talking to some tomatoes today. Leon Blair, good to see you there. Good to see you, Leon. Guys, I don't know if it's because this business has gotten so tiring. But you got to pick up the pace on the shares, folks. Got to pick up the pace on the shares. Folks, I had about 15 minutes sleep between the morning program and this one. I feel like $1 million. Right? I feel like $1 billion. Let me go up a little higher. I feel like $1 billion. You got to pick up the share, folks. Good to have you there with us, guys. Let's get you some housekeeping quickly. Alert you some of the things we think you ought to know about at this hour. 20 past 12, where we are, National Capital City, broadcasting live in Guyana. Happy to have you folks here. Look at some of what we're tracking, folks. Australia. Look at some of y'all going to move to Australia now. Candy, some of the tomatoes you got there would work nice with fish. I don't like my tomatoes fried and curl up. I like my tomatoes like simmering in stew. When you fry it curls up. I don't know why it does that. But I like it kind of simmering a little soggy, a little soppy and stew. That's how I like my tomatoes. In Australia, them boys telling us fish falling from the sky. In Australia, fish is falling from the sky. Our sister Natasha Singh Lewis is going to join us in just a little bit. Let's get through some of this information quickly. That's what they're telling us in Australia. It has been not raining cats and dogs, fish. We got a shortage of fish here now. Them fish and biting the bait. We got some intelligent fish here. Them fish see them nets, they go in the other direction. In the notation we have, it says here, the strange fishy rain, it's like a PVP rain, fishy rain, all over the particular tongue. Lajamanu is the name of the town. A small community in arid Northern Territory it has been raining fish. They said the deluge has happened 4 times in the last 30 years. Tell me if Jesus isn't coming again. Tell me if Jesus isn't coming again. Or the prophet or somebody coming again. It's raining fish in Australia. The recent deluge they had before this current one here was in 2010. And according to a counselor in this area reporting to Newsweek, he said, we've seen a big storm heading up to my community and we thought it was just rain. I don't know if some of these fish being raptured by the storm or what, but the folks say it's raining fish. Right? Raining fish. And this species of fish is said to be the spangled perch. Folks, all I know is about huri, hassa, kakabeli. This spangled perch with a name like that, bushy fish gotta get wings. Bushy fish gotta get wings. Haven't fallen overnight, they tell us. The community awoke. This is Australia, folks, the great outback. Awoke to find themselves scattered around the tongue. Fish in your skin. Many of them still alive. Some are still hanging around the community in puddles of water. Right? And children, of course, have been playing with them. Fish falling from the sky. Still trying to find out. This fish is found in Australia, mind you. Right? But it's not known to be flying fish. It's a species of freshwater fish in Australia. Yep, the Australians got it good. Could you imagine that? I can imagine some young guy part would say, you're even seasoning up the season, throwing in the pot when the fish falling. Everybody cooking outdoor, fish falling from the sky. Heavenly fish. Somehow, by some mechanism, some great storm out somewhere, one would suppose getting the fish up in the sky. I don't know. But folks, it's a legitimate article out of Newsweek about this occurrence in Australia. Yep. Gotta put Australia now on the bucket list. Shucks. They can't be having all the fun with free fish. Stop it. Gotta put Australia on my bucket list now. And then, folks, listen to this one here. Listen to this one. This is the Barbados Today editorial. That's what the hashtag is. Employees' tolerance level sinking. Maybe MP Natasha Singh Lewis can tell us a little bit about this when she joins us in just a few. Employees' tolerance level sinking. This is the Barbados Today, BT, the editorial. That's what they are positing there. Sinking. And here is why. Barbados Today is one of the major newspapers in Barbados. Just so you know. Just so you know. Right? I'm gonna read a couple paragraphs of the notation we have here. Right? It says here that the year 2023 is being cheered as the great rebound year. Economists and policymakers are encouraged to return to the pre-pandemic activities, with people loosening their purse strings and beginning to spend some of their disposable income they were putting aside during the turbulent period. They clearly don't live in Guyana. Disposable income putting aside. Clearly. They don't understand. We ain't gonna proper raise a pin a little bit. In some cases, they say here, this editorial out of Barbados Today, people are feeling more confident about their future and they are prepared to take on more credit and indulge in things that give them pleasure and personal satisfaction. After 2 years of economic pummeling caused by COVID-19 pandemic, We are now in a period of restoration, they say, and re-emergence as a country, right? They go on to say the facial masks are gone, so too are the restrictions on movement. We are free to assemble as we wish, except if we protest in here. Fet and socialize to our heart's content. If this is the case, then why are so many workers in Barbados seemingly unhappy? You all hear that? I thought it was nice, same on the mayor. Why are so many Barbados workers unhappy and easily frustrated? This is the editorial. Why are so many people depressed, ambivalent, and just appear to be going through the motion? And finally, last paragraph I'll give you. Though Barbadians are ostensibly surrounded by good news of a resurgent tourism industry, a significant drop in unemployment, a healthy level of foreign reserves in our treasury to support the continued value of the Barbados dollar against the US dollar, it seems too many people are still unhappy. Too many people are still unhappy. It's now looking around my beside now. Right? And they talk about the impact of COVID, the impact of government policies, and a mix of things that is responsible for that. Employees' tolerance levels sinking. That's the header for the editorial. And moving on quickly, folks, before we have our guests. Like, is everybody in drugs here? Like, is everybody in drugs as a side hustle? Well, not you kind folks, of course. Not you beautiful folks. But like a side hustle nation, folks, you all know since the new year has started, we have been chronicling the upsurge, the surge of narcotics. Household after household. You hear people saying, oh, things rough. We got to make we heights. This government ain't care with nobody. And just today, a construction worker was busted, they say, with narcotics in his haversack. Well, folks, when you hear the contents, when you hear the brand, it's like the boy got a pharmacy. When you hear the things, it's like he got a pharmacy. This 23-year-old resident of Pigeon Island squatting area was busted just last evening with a quantity of marijuana and methamphetamine. That's the dangerous ones. Methamphetamines he had. What are you doing with that? And if you see the photograph we have there in the graphic, that's it. You look at money packets. All this for here? No. We big. Well, we ain't stupid. We big. Right? They said when apprehended, of course he tried to escape. Police found a Ziploc bag containing cannabis along with 17 other bags with methamphetamines inside. Believe it or not, methamphetamines in it, which amounted, they say, to 3.66 grams. The cannabis was 41.1. This guy's a pharmacist. Got to be a pharmacist with that amount of drugs. He's a pharmacist. Folks, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Don't do it. And then on the other side, as though fish falling from the sky, where we are, Irfan, y'all boy, Penelope, Beatrice Selby, your boy, Maria Vera, your boy, Maureen Williams, Maria, your boy, is telling us that government is positioning Guyana as a regional leader in food and energy and climate security. Folks, you know as well as I do. Sugar dung. Starbucks News just last week said rice is in the same position as sugar. It dung. You know them black belly sheep, the collarbone showing. the backbone outside. The Brahman bull them falling down for lack of care. And then the big black chicken, time limited. So how are these people positioning us as leading food? Not even in our own country where a lot of people are hungry. Right now I'm hungry. Right now I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. Right now. Leader. And we can take that off in part. Leader in food security. I thought we were supposed to be leading energy security since the Skeldon Modernization Factory. Since the Skeldon Modernization Project was implemented. Them by thief out too much of the money. Leader? Leader where? Leader when? Leader where and when? Don't come wrong with funny. Don't come wrong with funny. That being said, folks, I want to welcome my sister, Natasha Singh Lewis, Member of Parliament. Folks, one of the misconceptions we have is a lot we know it's politics, you know. Some people are professional otherwise. I've had the privilege of studying communication and law, and the politics won't left me. It's like religion. It's like Pentecostalism to me. It just won't left me. It just won't left me alone. The politics is just there with us. Our sister, Natasha Singh Lewis, functions also in this area of helping people cope. She understands it, has studied it. Natasha went UG and fall out in second year. Like some people who should not be named in this program, but maybe another program, we can call them out. Natasha Singh Lewis, my sister and my friend. Welcome below the belt.
Good afternoon to you, Sharon. Please let me know if you're hearing me.
I'm hearing you loud and clear. Let me see if the folks we're dealing with, if they're hearing us loud and clear. Guys, y'all are hearing us? Y'all are hearing us? Tell us if you're hearing the guests. The technicians who run duty, come on, pull up your socks. Are you hearing the guests? I won't find nobody today. The techies out there. The techie folks out there. Right? Ultramax says, I'm hungry for justice. I feel the same way. Who killed Ronald Waddle? Who killed Monica Reese? Father have mercy. Father have mercy.
So Sharon Barber says she's hearing us loud and clear. And
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
I happy Barbara has showed up for duty. You know, it's a long time I write a dismissal letter. Natasha, how are you doing?
Good
Let us start
afternoon.
there.
I am fine, thank you, Sharon. And good afternoon to your listeners and viewers this afternoon. I have been listening to you for the past 20 minutes, and it's an interesting article you would have read from Barbados.
Yes. I
Um,
thought I might appeal to you.
I believe that a lot of that is happening in our country right now.
Yeah. But you see, we don't do
Informally,
no studies. We don't do no, you understand?
exactly.
As a government?
And I believe our journalists, I believe they need to zero in on issues like this because it's a national issue. It's a national issue, and I'll tell you why I say that. We have been seeing what is happening in the schools, and let's
Correct.
use that as a major stakeholder in the country, the education
Correct.
sector.
Correct.
And we have been seeing violence in the community, violence
Correct.
in the school, the teacher
Woodley
beating
Primary just the other day, or is it secondary school? Woodley,
Wood,
the school at
Woodley
Woodley
Park
there,
Secondary,
Park
right?
Secondary. You had the violence with the teacher and the student at Graham's Hall. You had another one at St.
Yes,
Angela's as well. Yeah,
in Region 2. Um, and it's like it's happening all across the country. And the common thread that I am understanding is that people are frustrated. And you would recognize that I was in Region 10 yesterday,
mm-hmm,
conducting a similar session. Well, I supported a session there.
mm-hmm,
And what we found, and while we would say frustrated, Some of the teachers
And
says
in
Miss
particular,
fed up.
this is in mental wellness.
Mental wellness.
Mental wellness. And I want to underscore, too often as a country, too often as a country, we don't pay nearly enough attention to mental wellness, right?
Absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
let me try to frame it better for our listeners.
Go
Too
ahead.
many times, Natasha, we self-diagnose. Look, I was in the
Yes.
pharmacy over the weekend. A man come in. He said, "My wife belly hurting, right? Gives you something for win." He telling the pharmacist, right?
So,
She wants something for win, right? That is self-diagnosing.
mm-hmm,
Your neck back hurting. You say, "I can take a Malta, my
mm-hmm,
pressure higher or something like. I need a little
mm-hmm.
papa or something."
So what
Self-diagnose.
if that lady had kidney stones or
Aye,
something else
yep,
that causes
yep.
her tummy to hurt?
Or
How fi-
narrow,
or how fixing the wind is going to stop?
you know. But
So
we
the
don't
point
often think
is,
about it. Yeah. Mhm.
self-diagnosing is not a good thing.
Yeah.
You should be seen by a professional.
Yeah.
But Shara, that brings me to the point. Who is looking after the interests of our people? We talk about developing our human resources. If people are not mentally well, there's no way there is going to be productivity. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to see people murdering people like we're seeing. And now I notice there's a trend of women murdering men. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the other way around now, and it gives you a sense that people, whether they're men, women, children, they're all frustrated. Where is that coming from? It's um, a heavy load of stressors on individuals at work, at home, in the community. Too many stresses for one individual with no opportunity of understanding the stresses and how to deal with them and let them go, and how to relax and how to regain composure and go again. People don't have those soft skills. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
These
Mm-hmm.
things should have been a major factor nationally coming out of a pandemic. It should
Correct
have
is
been.
right. Correct is right, because we saw reports, MP, in which it suggests that during the pandemic you had a rise in domestic violence.
Absolutely.
Because you and me
Absolutely.
trapping the I accustomed to you going to work, and so I know I got to see you all day done vex. I ain't
Yeah.
got my space,
Yeah.
among other things. And we, the policymakers, especially those who got the power to initiate change, have been so lackadaisical. I was shocked recently when I heard Vindhya Prasad, the Minister of Social Services and the other stuff, telling us in the National Assembly, she said she's very sensitive to domestic violence. I'm sure you heard that. She said she was very
Yeah.
sensitive. But then
Yeah.
O.C. Rogers happened. Nothing was
Mm.
said,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
had some issues in the National Assembly where concerns
Nothing
flew, and
happened.
remarks by Nigel Darmalal. She said nothing,
Yeah.
right? So those who got the authority to implement positive change, we go through this period in this country when you have that period, 16 days of activism. Oh yes, everybody is for 16 days of activism, and when we have International Women's Day, it's something. And by the time those particular times pass, it's back to
Mhm.
square one.
And so the question is, what is the impact? And like I asked this session, we put up all these fancy cloth on the tree and we paint the posts, and the women in the community, we don't do anything with them. The men in the community, we don't pull them together to have a session with them. But the optics, is a branding thing. The optics is important.
Yeah, yeah,
While,
yeah.
while while the
Why is
color symbolizes something, I think we got to go deeper. We got to recognize that people are not the same coming out of COVID, having to deal with an apartheid government that doesn't really care for them. Public servants are crying out for the conditions under which they are working. Let me share with you a couple of experiences yesterday. Our session was open to women and girls generally across Region 10. Our focus was on teachers particularly, but some other public servants came. And when the psychologist was delivering on the session, one of the public servants stopped him, and he stopped. And she recognized that what he was saying, and he was simply identifying the stresses in the workplace and the stresses in the home, with the hope of giving them some advice of
Mm-hmm.
how to understand, deal with it, and so that it doesn't become chronic issues for you. And she said to him, Mr. Campbell, I believe you need to go in every workplace and have this session.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was so significant because I felt like, the teachers are really affected, and we need to focus on the teachers so that learning can be better in the classroom. Our students are greatly affected when the teacher's mental state is not what it should be. They are not able to deliver at the level that they should deliver for our children. And we still expect the children to achieve, and move on. And then the children are coming to school with their own set of stresses because children also suffer tremendously. And a lot of us don't take time because we know that they are young, they're small, and in our minds, they're insignificant. But one of the things that I learned in my course of study is that the school and the classroom is the safest place for a child when he comes from an abusive home. A lot of people don't understand that. And when that child leaves that home with so many stresses and so young, and the class come to the classroom and the teacher is so frustrated, they can't connect, that teacher
Mm-hmm.
can't understand, and so learning is not the way it's supposed to be. So we went there prepared to talk to teachers, but there were other public servants there. We had people from the hospital, um, from, I think it was agriculture and so on, came across. It was a well attended session, um, but the cry is the same. And then I decided to investigate. And I found out that since we passed the mental health bill in the assembly, I think it was October last year, Frank Anthony, the Minister of Health, would have said to us through that document that every health facility in the community would be treated as a center to deal with mental health issues. Let me tell you, in the entire Region 10, at the Linden Hospital, one psychiatrist goes from Georgetown to the hospital every first Wednesday of the month. You know what
Once per
happened?
month.
Once per month. But you know what's the killer? When that psychiatrist evaluates the person, and it isn't an issue that that person um, need to go through and get medication and feel better, that person
Mm-hmm.
needs psychosocial support, guess what happens? The psychiatrist refers the person to the Georgetown Public Hospital where the psychosocial support um, department is. So no psychologist is going to Linden, right? The
Wow.
burden, the economic burden of a person who's already showing signs of mental illness that has to leave Linden to come down to Georgetown, pay a passage to the park, then find a taxi from there to Georgetown Hospital. You got to get lunch, and then you got to wait a long time to see the psychologist, and then a return. And you have to do that for several sessions until you feel better. Sharon, I believe the people of Region 10 deserves a lot better than that. We can afford it. We can afford it. The
Correct
call
is right.
yesterday was that the psychologist should go back and have one on one sessions. Now, that requires an office, that requires a greater intervention, but the need is there. After the session, a parent went up to the psychologist, and based on all that was said, and we dealt in a very short period, we dealt a little bit with trauma. And when she came out to speak with the psychologist outside, she was only able to put one sentence in, and she broke down in tears. Everything that was discussed there became overwhelming for her because she's internalizing and she recognized what's happening to her.
Wow. Just
It is,
wow. I'm so happy that you were able to be helpful in a meaningful way to the folks there. Natasha, is it because of the kind of taboos we have put on mental health? When we think about mental health, in our society, we think about people who are a little,
yeah,
crazy,
the
little,
math, yeah, the
what have
math.
you. We see the elevator, meeting
Mhm,
the top floor. Is it
mhm,
that is why we have this reluctance of people really and truly talking about mental health? It is okay to be stressed. It's natural part.
yeah,
It's okay to feel at the end of the rope. It is okay, right?
yeah.
But to build from there, to get back on your feet mentally, that is the challenge.
So shared
People don't want to talk
stigma,
about mental health.
shared stigma plays an integral role in people not going to seek help. For instance, if you know that I'm going to see the psychiatrist, you automatically think that I am mad and I got to go and get tablets to feel good. So you look at me differently. You treat me differently. That's our current situation here.
Hmm.
It's very similar to when you go into the doctor's office. We have to work on that taboo. When you go into the doctor's office, something wrong with your heart, your liver, your lungs, your kidneys, it is the same importance you must give to your mental health. And nothing, we should say this every single day. Nothing is wrong with you. You are taking care of yourself if you go and see the psychiatrist or the psychologist. And the stigma is what people will think about me when I go
Hmm.
there. But I often say, and like I heard the psychologist said yesterday, think about if you don't go there and get that help, what they will say to you when you walk in on the road and start kicking bricks and talking and behaving like a mad person. They will say worse. And so it is important for you to take care of yourself, regardless of what people say about you. The other thing, on the flip side of that, people go in seeking help because we say to them, it's a good thing, go seek help.
Hmm.
Then there's the level of kindness, lack of confidentiality. So the person come in at the hospital, the person was tested positive for HIV. And you know what? By the time that person meet home, the whole police force know. The whole social services know.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
Right?
It's a set of fast people we got.
Yes. Teacher so and so, she come here and the psychiatrist says she mad. She gotta go to Ashton for treatment. It's so bad. And so what are we doing? So, women tend to get up and go and seek help. Sharon, the statistic shows us that men don't go unless the women take them to get the help. And so
Hmm.
the call has to be because we know that men are breadwinners of our home. And for us to have happy and healthy homes, if something is wrong with the father or the brother, just like you will take care of mommy and the sister, you have to take them too. It is a lot more difficult for men to sit down with a psychologist and to open up and to say all of the things that has been happening and where he is now and to seek help. It's a lot more difficult for a man to do that, but we have to encourage it. It is okay to go and seek help. Any one of us, particularly, we should take responsibility of our children. You know, yesterday's session was really, really good. A lot of things came out, and it really opened my mind to the systems that we don't have, that we should have in that particular community. And it allows us to see when systems are not working, what will happen to our workforce? I don't remember if it's a teacher or a public servant who said, all I wanted was 3 days. I know if I stay home and just get some sleep and just eat and rest, I will be okay to go back to work. And when she said that at a staff meeting, everybody starts to laugh. And then she said she recognized, because she is always jovial and trying to make the effort to ensure that everybody in the office is okay. When she
Hmm.
felt overwhelmed, they didn't respect that. They didn't think for a moment that she was not okay. And those are things that we have to look for in our workplace. We have to look out for each other. We have to, as legislators, we have to take to the National Assembly the legislation that will say to people that when a patient comes to a psychologist and a patient is diagnosed, then they should be given leave. They should be paid by NIS, just as how you're getting a medical certificate. So we have to give mental health issues equal importance. That is something that I think will make a difference for workers in our country.
Endorse, endorse. Uh, Natasha, before we let you go, we know we're running up to program time and we can't ever exhaust topics like these. So we're going to have you back at another time and we bite off another aspect of it. But before we let you go, remind us of that wonderful organization you started, that NGO you launched last year, and maybe bring us up to speed. I know this might have been part of the work you guys are doing. Bring us up to speed with what you guys have been.
Absolutely. So, the name of the organization is Sisters Together Incorporated. And for those of you who are hearing about this for the first time, please step over to the Facebook page and the Instagram page. When you're finished with the program, like and share. The content of our organization is there on our Facebook page, Sisters Together Inc. We are an organization that our vision speaks to empowering women and girls for community development. So sometimes people want to know why we're not extending our activities to men and boys too, but our focus is for women and girls. We have started in the direction of training, because we believe if you educate one woman, you will educate an entire nation. And so our focus has been education and training. Yesterday's session in Linden allowed us to have a mental wellness session for women and girls in Region 10. And what has happened is that we have established a satellite group in Linden itself. And they, among themselves, sat down and decide what are the priorities for their community. And so, in working with women and girls, they thought that a mental wellness session is important and will be impactful. And indeed, it did. We have other programs. We've set up a group in New Amsterdam, we have one in Mocha Arcadia, and we are now moving to have one in Region 2. And so, we will have, um, you know, similar programs. Each community will tell us what is important for them, and we will design and implement programs accordingly for them.
Excellent. That is good work and painstaking work. Painstaking work, you know.
Yes,
Uh, to,
that you don't see in front, but in the back end, it's a lot of work and it requires a lot of commitment. Sharon, I heard you talk about permit me just to say this.
right ahead.
I heard you talk about domestic violence. We have had one session with parents and teachers of Pine Street Nursery in Linden. Subsequent to that, we had a march for women against violence against women and girls. And what we found out is that the women, they want to support, they know that they're suffering, they want to come out, but the men recognize that if the women are empowered, they're in problem. And I recognize this. It's not a research as yet. Um, I've recognized this in Region 10, and it really was a shocker for me because I would have thought that women are so empowered that all they have to do is say that I'm going to this thing because it's educational in nature and it's okay. But when a few prominent faces did not turn up and I asked, that was a shocker for me. And so it speaks to a lot of the issues that we don't see in front before the woman is killed, before the woman is burnt, before the woman is chopped. A lot has been happening behind closed doors, and we don't know. It's really a challenge to get into these situations and to empower women to get out. And I think we have the responsibility as national leaders to talk about these things openly and
Yeah,
to educate people and let them know women should always know it's the best thing to walk away from an abusive relationship the first time it happens, regardless if you have a dollar or you don't, regardless if you have 5 children or you have one. It is always better to walk away. There is life and there is hope, and we should always promote that.
correct is right. And finally, MP Natasha Singh Lewis, let's say the people within the hearing of our voices who might be victims right now of domestic violence. They're suffering. They have their own mental wellness challenges and so on. What would be a good next step for them in terms of getting help?
So the first thing to do is to reach out, and I often say I can't speak for other organizations, but reach out to our admin, and I'll give you a number 665-7593. Reach out to any one of our social media platform. Somebody will respond to you within 24 hours and listen to you and try to meet with you and help you along the way. And it's important to remember the name of the organization. It is Sisters Together Inc. on Facebook and on Instagram. Reach out and somebody will get back to you. Usually there are 3 or 4 persons in at the back end in the office that will be doing all of this. And when it gets technical, then I will get involved. So reach out to
Excellent.
us and let's help you. And we are starting to stretch across the country. We are now in about 4 regions. We've established contact already.
Excellent. Natasha, as an organization, you all take a bow. I understand this is painstaking work. This kind of work can be rushed. You can't say hurry and get better. And we got things to do at our time. It's painstaking work, and as you said, it requires a lot of commitment, a lot
Yeah,
of passion, and so on. And we know that you got lots of that, and I know you're inspiring your team too, to do this work and empowering them as well. So we want to thank you. You do the work of a member of parliament, and then you're a professional person in this regard as well. And we say well done, and you guys continue. It's work that needs to be done in our society, that
absolutely.
needs to be done.
Thank you so much, Sharon.
Thanks for coming on the live, as we say. Thanks for coming on the live, Natasha. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
our program Below the Belt today.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Folks, that's going to do it for us today. That's going to do it for us. That's going to do it for us today. Thanks for joining our broadcast today, guys. We don't talk. These aren't the salacious issues. They got you singing, swinging from the chandelier and so forth. But they are equally important issues. Equally important issues of mental health. And the point I wanted to make, we don't oftentimes say, you know what? I need to get my mental health in check. You feel your head hurting, your neck, back yourself diagnosed. Oh, it's pressure. Might be mental health issues that exacerbated and finding its way in that kind of symptom. I take my mental health very seriously. Very seriously. And you all know we used to do shows even on the weekend. But you know what? We all need rest. We need time to think. We need time to regroup. And I spend a lot of time on the weekend just doing that. Right? And I gather jealously. I spend some time on the weekend doing absolutely nothing. I just want to sit down. I ain't want to do nothing. I want to answer the phone. I want a message. I sometimes the TV, right? I even watch the TV. I want just be. you know, just be. And I find I kind of I'm able to detox when I take my walks. I do my running, over the weekend, put in a couple miles. I detox, just leave all the stress behind and regroup for the new week. Very important part of our lives. Very, very important. You know, and I know we got a lot of to learn from you guys out there who got your own regiment and how you kind of eke out a space for mental wellness and all of that. You know, yep, that's gonna do it for us, good folks. Thanks for joining us today. Below the belt. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We can't do these programs without you. We say it, and it's so important. We talk politics, but then they have these issues too. We have to address as well. We gotta address them. Help us to keep going, to keep going, folks. And this is how you do it. Be a contributor to our program. We got Cash App, we got Zelle, we got PayPal, MMG, MoneyGram, Western Union, as well. All for your convenience. All for your convenience. We ain't building house. We ain't buying fancy car. With the money you've entrusted to our care, it goes towards expanding these programs and keeping them going. Keeping them going. It takes a tidy sum, dirty job. Somebody's got to do it. We out here, folks. We out here. 2+ years and counting. We out here. Good people. Thanks for joining us. That's going to do it for us in this sense. Stay safe. Isabella Butters. Stay safe out there. Yvonne Ramasar. Stay safe, guys. Have a great afternoon. Have a great rest of the afternoon. That's it.